Are you ready?
Yeah.
Do you want me to do this or no?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I love your little performances.
But I can see us lost in the memory. August slipped away into a moment in time, 'cause it was never mine. And I can see us twisted. Can't even finish it.
We are an unusual couple, you know.
It's August.
So true.
Yeah, it's August. That's why I was singing Taylor Swift. I couldn't get through it. I knew I was gonna laugh, and I did.
For those of you that have watched our Taylor Swift episode,
Yes. Oh my God.
this is actually relevant. We both, Chris more so than me, because I already liked it generally in the first place. Do you want to tell them about your new appreciation for a certain Taylor Swift album? I'm gonna check our level.
So this isn't the first time I've ever had to make a public apology on the podcast. First, it was years ago when I not badmouthed Marvel shows on Netflix like Daredevil and Punisher, but I was like, I don't need them. And then I watched them and I was like, they're really good. So this time around, I wouldn't say I bashed them. I would just say I didn't really give Folklore a chance.
You didn't really listen to Folklore or Evermore.
Nope, I didn't. And so I was like, they stink, because I just heard like one song off of them. But I finally started listening to it, and dare I say, I'm a folk whore?
Correct. That is the proper terminology. Your ears and your eyes have been opened.
Yours as well, right?
I always generally liked Folklore. I think my ranking stays the same just because I know I like the other albums above Folklore better. But I have a newfound appreciation for Folklore. I think it happened after going to the Eras tour. And this happens a lot as somebody who goes to concerts quite regularly. Just sometimes you'll hear certain songs live and it changes your opinions on them. It changes your perspective on them. And the whole performance of Folklore really did it for me. The dresses, the vibes, the music, all of it. So I was like, maybe this isn't so bad. And then now I like it quite a lot more. There's still certain songs in there that aren't my favorites, but there's some that are.
I've been listening to it a lot. It's one of my most listened to Taylor Swift albums right now, which, by the way, I saved this for a reason because I wanted to do kind of a cold open. I think there's a way I could do that on the air, like the Taylor Swift thing. I haven't done it yet.
Google search.
But look, when I go to Spotify home, well, at least it's of course not there now. It says, nope, there it was. You see it? It went away. It said I'm in the top 13% of listeners, so find out.
It said that for everybody, and I think that...
Is it a lie?
I think it has to be because, no offense, there's no way you're in Taylor Swift's top 13%.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But also 13 is just Taylor's number. So I think they just did that so everybody could do it. But if you Google search
Taylor Swift
top 5 eras on Spotify, you'll probably be able to find it. Is
it through Spotify?
Yeah.
So what do I do now?
There should be a link somewhere that will take you to Spotify, cool. Maybe. I have mine somewhere in my camera roll.
Let's hear it.
Methinks. It lets you pick your top 5, what you think your top 5 are going to be.
And that doesn't factor into the equation?
Mm-mm.
That's weird.
It's just to see how accurate you are.
Okay.
So I picked mine. Hang on, let me find what mine actually are.
I'm selecting my eras right now.
What I picked for my top 5 eras were, I picked Speak Now, Reputation, 1989, Fearless, and Folklore. Okay. Those were the 5 that I picked for my eras.
Okay.
In that order. And then this is what my top 5 were by listening, according to Spotify. And it's of all time. So I've had Spotify since middle school.
Okay.
But so number 5 was Fearless. Number 4, 1989. Number 3, Red. Number 2, Speak Now. And number 1, Reputation. Okay. So I was pretty accurate. I just picked Folklore over Red.
Okay. Well, I picked my 5. My eras. Am I guessing or am I just picking?
Well, keep going and then it should tell you.
So I hit next.
Screenshot that.
Okay. These are my selections and this is...
Let's see if it lets you do the next. Is there next?
There was. Now it says lock it in.
Lock it in. See what
happens. I'm locking
it
in. And we're seeing what happens on air right now live for everybody.
All right. We're loading. So those are what you picked. Hit next.
It says my top 5. So that's what I picked.
That's what you picked.
Okay.
Hit next.
Next. Enchanting picks. Now here's your list based on your listening history.
Oh.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
So screenshot that and then let's talk about what you picked for yourself, and let's talk about what it gave you.
So I
Interesting.
picked.
This is so fun.
I picked my top 5. I said number 5, Fearless Taylor's version, because I listened to Love Story and You Belong With Me a lot.
Yeah, I know.
But I haven't really done my homework on the rest of it as much as I should.
Yes, you should.
So I thought that was going to carry a lot more weight than it did. Midnight's number 4 because it's the new one and I listen to it so much. Whenever a new album comes out, I kind of just listen to it on a loop for
I know.
like in my car for a few months.
Yeah.
Then I did Lover because I've recently have explored that lately. Reputation in 1989. Okay?
All right, word. Now, what did you get?
Now here's what I actually got. Number 5, Big Reputation.
So true.
I got Reputation. Number 4, Red. That
Nice.
checks out because I listened to that one a lot when I was younger.
Yeah, you listen to it a lot now too.
Number 3, Lover, and that's super recent. Like that means I've listened to that a ton in the past few weeks, or not weeks, months.
Favorite song off of Lover?
Now or then is the question. Right now, man, it's tough. There's really good ones, but I think it's Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. Yeah, but all the girls you loved before.
Nice.
That's high. And then number 2, 1989.
As you should.
Number 1 is a shocker for you guys, probably.
I'm shocked a little bit, yeah.
Midnights.
I didn't know that you
Midnights.
picked that for your top 5. That makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, Midnights is number 1. It does make sense because I listened to that album. We listened to it together the first time. I remember we were driving down to the beach.
To a beach, yeah.
And then we listened to it on the way back a bunch. And then I've
you
honestly
love Karma. You love
and then the first song, Lavender Haze. I've listened to that whole album
You're
a lot.
poppy.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So that makes sense.
There's some pop songs on
Yeah,
Midnights.
absolutely.
I'm shocked you don't listen to Sabrina Carpenter more when I'm not around. She's very pop girly.
I'd have to make a playlist.
I'll make you.
If it's not on a playlist, I rarely listen to it.
I'll make you a playlist.
Yeah, but that was a fun little intro.
That was so fun.
Yeah, and this is about to get really weirdly not meta, but we have a connection here. There's a segue.
Well, hang
here.
on. Before we segue, I just want to point out the erasure of Speak Now in his choices and in his outcome.
Yeah, I just knew it wouldn't be on there.
It's disgusting.
Give it a few weeks. And the Speak Now television could be.
You know, you like that Vault song a lot. The I Can See
You.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one.
You got to listen to
I also
Speak
like,
Now more.
is it called Electric?
Touch. Very good.
Yeah.
With Fall Out Boy.
Electric Feel is I think it's a different older band that made the song Kids. MGMT, I believe is what they're called. But
Fascinating.
regardless, I have the ultimate segue. Do you want to hear it or not?
Go ahead.
So if you clicked on this video, you clicked on it because we are doing a ranking of MCU Disney Plus shows.
True.
And before we get into that,
I know where you're going with this.
Before we get into that,
do you know what song is about him?
No, that would be cool if you knew. I don't.
I do.
So before we get into that, what's one of the most popular MCU Disney Plus shows? Loki. Loki season 2 got a trailer. We're going to talk about that.
Let's see if you can guess.
But who plays Loki? Tom Hiddleston. And is Tom Hiddleston connected to Taylor Swift?
Let's see if you can complete the lyrics of the song that is about him.
Okay.
I'm in a soft reputation.
I'm in a dun, 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 dun.
Nope.
Is that the beat?
No.
Okay, just tell me. I'm not going to get this.
I'm in a getaway car.
Oh, shit.
I left you at the motel bar. Put the money in the bag and I stole the keys. That was the last time you ever saw me.
That's about
driving
Loki?
in a getaway car. Yeah.
That's kind of valid. What about a getaway jet ski with Mobius? I was driving in my getaway jet ski. I was flying through the multiverse. Kiwi Kwan won an Oscar and he's coming to take a paperweight and Infinity Stone. All right, we lost that, but that was a bunch of references
Great.
there.
There's other Tom Hiddleston songs too. I just know Getaway Cars mostly.
I think the people get a kick out of it when I do that shit.
I know you get a kick out of it.
It's fun. It's kind of a it's just.
Anyways, Tom Hiddleston Loki season 2 trailer came out.
It did, and I just got a notification, and I'm gonna read it to you.
From X.
Yeah, it's triggering, right?
I changed mine so that it looks like Twitter.
Even in this?
I don't have my Twitter notifications
okay.
on though. That's the difference between us.
Loki season 2 had the biggest online trailer debut for a Disney Plus series with 80 million views. Like over
out of all of them
any
ever?
Star Wars, any Marvel, yes.
Well, it's because it's the first one that's gotten a second season, I think.
I think so, and honestly, Cam,
Justice.
the people are clamoring for
Justice.
a good season of MCU TV. This was perfect timing because it came right after Secret Invasion, which not a lot of people liked at all, including myself. And a lot of people have said it's damage control, but it's also like just the timeline of MCU. Whenever a show ends, they immediately start promoting the next one. So once Loki ends, they're going to start promoting Echo.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Echo comes out on my birthday, all eps.
I think it's so messed
And
up.
I'm
that
going
they're
to tell you this
doing
right
all
now.
ups.
We're not watching on my birthday.
I just think it's so messed up that they're dropping it all at once. Like, just kind of feels.
Well, I'll make this
crappy.
point. I think it's like
I think
there's
it's-
pros and cons. I think a lot of shows, including Secret Invasion, should have dropped all at once.
I know. I agree with that. I'm not mad that they're dropping it all at once because I love watching TV shows
Yes,
all at once.
yes.
I think it's crappy that the first show they're dropping all at once is the one with a character that's deaf.
That's fair.
That's why I think it's crappy. I
I
think they don't have any faith in it.
They don't.
And
That's
I think
why.
that's why they're dropping it all at once. And it's like the Batgirl of the MCU. Like they're just throwing it away pretty much. And I don't appreciate that. They're not even trying.
Yeah, and they're banking on Daredevil being in the show. I think they're gonna have to push him in
Yeah.
marketing, like they did with She-Hulk, which is like
If they even
you know.
market it.
At this
Because
point,
if it drops all at once, what's the point?
I mean, at this point, they'll probably drop a trailer in October,
I just think it's
which
crappy.
is a month before. But we'll see.
Yeah.
They have to get it out. Here's what I think happened. They don't like the way the show turned out, but they're like, this is actually important to set up Born Again.
Yeah, I guess.
So they're like, we got to drop it. And so instead of wasting everyone's time on a week-to-week basis, let's just do it all at once.
But back on topic of Loki, I think it's really interesting watching a lot of people's reactions to the season 2 trailer and stuff like that. Because I have the memory of a goldfish, but I have a really good memory when it comes to specific things. And I do remember when certain people that I know either liked or didn't like a certain MCU show. And for Loki, I have vivid memories of everyone who like didn't like it. And now those people are like, hell yeah, Loki season 2, I'm so excited. And I'm like, okay.
Do I fall in that category?
No, you always liked Loki. You were always a strong Loki defender and lover.
I think I always was. There was a period of time, and this is with every show, where I kind of was like, maybe it wasn't all that good. But when it came out, there's a record of me saying somewhere, but I think I said it was the strongest at the time. And I'm going to be real. We are going to rank
Let's just
these.
be real. I'm changing the color
For the
behind us to
longest,
green.
okay, cool. For the longest time, I was, I'm not afraid anymore. I was kind of
I'm not
afraid
afraid
to speak my
anymore.
truth about the show on your shirt, and I'm going to do that in this video.
You were afraid to speak your truth?
I felt like just because you liked it, there was this, whether I wanted to admit it or not, there was a bit of a bias where I was like, okay, I have to put this high. It's still high, but it's like, I think I realized what my number one is after this trailer.
I don't expect it to be your number 1, but it better not be below a certain number.
It's definitely high. It's definitely
Okay.
high.
Let's talk about Loki season 2 a little bit more before we get into
Please,
the
yeah,
other
yeah,
TV
yeah,
shows.
please.
Anything in the trailer that really stuck out to you? That really
Ki
made
Hoi
you
Kwan is such a
I
delightful little man.
love him.
I love him.
I hope he is in more than just like that little scene. I want them
I
to
think he's
take
going to
him
be a
with
recurring
him.
character.
I want him to go on the adventures.
I think he'll be a recurring character.
I love him.
Yeah.
I adore him so much.
We'll probably see variants of him.
I hope so.
Here's what I'm
Dr. Jones.
Here's what I love that movie. Here's what I am the most excited about in Loki. The fact that the show feels quality.
Uh-huh.
Just based on this trailer, from the music
There's like
to
actual
the-
cinematography.
It just feels like a genuinely good show. Strip out of its attachment to Marvel Studios, it feels like a good TV show.
Yeah.
And that's how I also feel about Loki's quality, the production value, the
Yeah.
performances. I mean, the first episode of Loki, my
Is it when
God,
he's
Tom Hiddleston's
crying?
good. Yes.
God, he ate so bad.
Oh my God. I've never been more excited to rewatch an MCU show than I am to rewatch Loki, and I'm probably going to do it like late September.
I rewatched Loki recently because of Ant-Man
Quantumania?
Quantumania.
Yeah.
Because when I saw it, I was like, oh. And then I went to go watch it again with my friends, and before we went to see it, I was like, let's put on Loki.
Which was smart
And
of you
then-
to jog their memory.
When I was paying attention to Loki, like at the end in the finale, listening to He Who Remains. I looked at the Funko Pop behind me.
Kang. but
Kang's. When listening to his speech, I was like, oh, this connects a lot of dots. And then I screen grabbed part of his speech and put it on Twitter, and then the video went viral.
Yeah.
Because people were like, you can tweet a video.
And I think a lazy big content creator just stole your tweet, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But that's a topic for another time. Anyway.
That happens all the time.
I had to do that.
That happens all the time.
It's fine, but no. Loki season 2, Loki and Mobius, one of my favorite duos in I can't say the full MCU, but I could argue top 10 duo in the
Owen
MCU.
Wilson's just such a fun person to look at
Yes.
and listen to.
Yes.
Like, we watched Haunted Mansion.
He carried it
in a
almost.
way,
Him
carried.
and Lakeith.
Yeah, he partially carried that movie on his back.
Yes.
Like, it was so fun to watch because of him. And I think that also applies to Loki.
I also think that Owen Wilson as Mobius is just perfect casting, and he just adds something to the show. There's video footage of me saying he is my favorite character. Do you remember that? I said he's my favorite character in Loki, and I would literally say just make a Mobius show.
You know what I watched today? Because we were talking about it in our group chat. Our reaction to the silky kiss. So funny, where you just like look you and
I was disgusted.
You looked
right?
away.
I was so ill.
I'm
I
just
was
like
ill.
you look away, and I'm like, oh, Twitter's gonna be so mad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so funny.
That made me ill.
Loki is also the one that had that really interesting intro that one time, where it started with the and then it was like.
Was that episode 5 after they were pruned, or was that episode 6? That was the finale.
Yeah,
that was the
because
finale.
We weren't together for episode 5.
Correct. I was in California.
I was also in California.
I was at Disneyland.
I was in Sacramento. Shout out
this is
Emma.
true.
We watched that in her home theater.
Yeah.
That was lit.
Episode 5 is the one with the variants.
Yeah.
Episode
Least
6
favorite episode of the
opens
season for
with
me, personally.
the voiceovers. I remember exactly. My jaw dropped. in that one.
That's my number one react. Like I have a highlight on TikTok
Yeah.
of our reaction
Yeah.
videos, and that's, I think, no,
That's
not the
like
number
almost
one.
1 million views. I'm
The
pretty sure.
number one reaction video we have is our reaction to
Falcon.
Bucky in Wakanda.
Yeah. A great scene. You know what? I have a statement to make,
Okay.
and this is going to be a clip. I'm letting you know that right now, just
All right.
for your editing and for the people watching. This is going to be a clip. The first 3 MCU Disney Plus shows, that time period of the first 3 MCU Disney Plus shows, unmatched. I think WandaVision is a weaker show than some that would come later, but early 2021 for MCU Disney Plus shows will never be replicated, because not only were they the first MCU Disney Plus shows, but honestly, the week-to-week hype and people actually caring and the quality of show were all really high, in my opinion. So I think that those 3 shows in that era, unmatched, it kind of got soured for us as we rolled around into 2022.
Yeah. I also think, and what's the one that comes after Loki? What was the first one? Hawkeye.
What if, but then Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
21 was the best year for MCU Disney Plus shows.
After
easily.
Hawkeye, I think there's multiple reasons why shows and stuff fell off, but I think one of the main things is that they started doing it for characters that we didn't already know. So we didn't already have a love for these characters, and that's just a little bit harder to get into.
That's a very
for
good
some
point.
of them.
Very fair point. I mean, I really agree, because you're right. After that, I mean, after Hawkeye, we got Moon Knight, new character, Miss Marvel, new character, She-Hulk, new character. Even what are we getting now? Secret Invasion, technically Nick Fury, but it was such a drag, and it did introduce a lot of new characters.
Yeah. But on topic of the Loki trailer,
Yeah, let's talk that a little more. I want to dive into
things that caught my eye specifically. Multiple things.
Okay.
Starting out first with the poster that they released, Loki's eyes are green. And I find that interesting. His eyes have always been blue. Tom Hiddleston's eyes are blue. I noticed in the trailer his eyes are glowing green for his powers at one point.
Yeah.
But in the trailer, they're just straight up green, like green contacts. I don't know what that means. I don't know if there's significance to that. But it caught my attention.
Okay.
I was like, huh.
What
I
really,
think everything in Loki is intentional.
100%.
So when I noticed that, I was like, okay.
Variant?
Second thing that caught my eye, that gagged me a little, was the shot in the trailer where it's a shadow of what I can only assume is Loki and Sylvie, and their little horns grow. Or maybe it's 2 Lokis, who knows? But like, it's not the tiny horns, it's the big horns. I love the big horns.
There was so much. The line, I don't want to butcher it, but I probably will. You guys know me. It's that interaction, I think. And I want to say Sylvie says something along the lines of like, we don't need to be playing God, or
Yeah,
something
we
about
don't.
playing
We
God.
can't be
and
playing
Loki was
God,
like,
which
we
is
are gods.
big talk for
When
her.
she literally killed He Who
Big
Remains
talk for
and
Sylvie.
caused the destruction of the multiverse.
Big
essentially.
talk for her. I
Yeah.
think we've seen like behind the scenes photos, and in one of them, she's working at McDonald's.
Interesting.
And I hope that that's like where she is in life after what she did.
I hope that. Well, honestly, I'm thinking back to the finale of.
No,
Loki.
that was my third point.
Yeah, go ahead.
My third point was watching the trailer. It starts out straight out the gate with Loki and Mobius like talking to each other and running around like they were in Loki season 1.
Yeah,
and I'm like, in the finale, Mobius doesn't know who Loki is. Loki's like, we need to stop him. Like, he's coming, blah, blah. And Mobius is like, calm down. What's your number? Like, who are you? Like, what section are you from? And Loki's like, I have goosebumps.
I do too. The ending of
Like,
Loki
thinking about it.
gives me
And
legitimate
like,
chills.
nobody knows who he is. And he's
Yeah.
like, are you, like, you gotta come down. And then there's like the 3 Kangs or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was interesting watching the trailer. And it's like, none of that's in it. fascinating.
And
really.
it's in the point I wanted to go ahead.
Maybe he just glitches back into his timeline.
Yeah.
That'd actually be
a lot
kind
of
an
people have
annoying
said
cop-out.
it's very Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse with the...
Yeah, except I think the difference is that glitching in Spider-Verse is between dimensions. Glitching in Loki is time traveling.
Yeah, okay.
That's the only difference. I've seen a lot of that on Twitter, and I think the animation / CGI whatever of it is similar. The whole,
Yep.
but I think it's different things. He's not going to different realities or different dimensions, or maybe he is. Maybe it's both. Because this is the thing that got me about Loki the first time around, and I've just learned to really not think about it too much, because if I think about it too much, it gets bad. Loki, Mobius, TVA, all of it exists outside of space and time.
It's really trippy,
And you
Cam.
can't think about that too hard.
Yeah.
Because if you do, it's going to give you a headache, and you're going to poke holes in it, and it's just not going to end well for anybody. So you just kind of have to accept, like, yep, he exists outside of space and time, and that's just how it is. That's how it's going to be.
It's the ultimate writer's cheat code is what it is.
I don't even know if it's a cheat code,
It
though,
is.
because it's like
They can do whatever they want because it's outside of space and time.
I
know?
guess, but it just
I
hurts
will
my head a
say
little.
what I loved about the trailer, and calling back to what I said after Quantumania in our spoiler talk, spoilers for Quantumania, there's a post-credit scene in that movie where we see Mobius and we see Loki, and they see, I believe, Victor Timely, who's like the first Kang
The first
that sort
Kang
of
variant.
discovers Kang's
Yeah.
power and all that. You know, you guys, I'm not going to go into the lore here, but that was the post-credit scene of Quantumania. And I said, I think we're returning to the Marvel days where post-credit scenes, like the last one in the film, sets up a project. It's unrelated to the movie we just watched for the most part, but it sets up an upcoming project. And then sure enough, in the last half of this trailer, we see that post-credit scene. I love when Marvel does that.
Same. Like, I forget which movie it's the post-credit scene for.
Ant-Man and then Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
that's
could
what
read
I'm
your
talking
mind.
about.
Literally, is that freaky?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ant-Man, and we see that scene with Bucky after the... Not the it's the helicopter showdown with Black Panther? No.
And I mean, it's Black Panther's there for a sec.
No, it's like later. It's after they rescue... I don't know when it is in the movie, but it's when Bucky is like knocked out, and then they're like, when do you go get Ant-Man? So it's after they've escaped like their brief captivity.
Oh yeah,
And
it's
that fight
Zemo sets him
Yep,
off.
that's
there we
exactly
go.
what it
Took
is.
me a second. I haven't seen that movie
Bucky's
in a
wearing
while.
like that red sweater.
He's wearing the red Henley. That's the name.
What's a Henley?
That's the brand of the T-shirt.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Come on, how do you not know that?
Come on now.
Come on.
I mean, but no, yeah, that's really cool that they included it.
That's one of my favorite lines in the MCU. If you cut it correctly, where it's like, "Which Bucky am I talking to?" Your mom.
Oh man,
So funny.
So this trailer was a win for me. The score, like the Loki theme, and it sounds like there's a new rendition of it for this season, to me at least. Gets me hype.
Yeah.
And the final shot of the trailer when Loki's walking and it transitions into the Loki logo. Come on now. That's so sick.
One thing I'm not looking forward to though is I guess certain fan reactions to the show as we go through it. If we're thinking about how people reacted to season 1, like the whole thing with the Infinity Stones and being paperweights and people being like, Natasha died for a paperweight when they could have gone to the TVA and gotten them out of the desk drawer and all that stuff. Like if you like listened, because they're at the TVA, they don't work anymore. They're irrelevant. That's why they are paperweights. Like,
so you're saying you're not looking forward to people's stupidity and lack of media literacy?
I can't say it like that. But like, I just need people to think a little bit, because Loki's a show, like I said, exists outside of space and time. So obviously everything that happens in the show is going to be a bit of a thinker.
Yeah.
You're going to have to think a little bit. You can't just watch it and absorb it on the surface level that it is. You're just going to have to just a little
Correct.
bit of thinking.
And the one thing I was irritated with the first time I watched Loki that I've really sort of softened on over the years, it's been 2 years now, which is crazy, is at the time they inserted this concept in Loki where the TVA will essentially pull you from a timeline if you do something that's not like the set way. So I was like, did none of the MCU characters make conscious decisions? Like, or was everything just set in stone and everything was already destined to happen? That, like, overthinking that sort of irritated me, and I know that really bothered people, but it doesn't really bother me anymore.
That didn't bother me at all, because we kind of already gathered that with Doctor Strange and Infinity War being like,
fair.
I went through 14,051 possibilities and there's only one where we win. Like, so they had no other choice to do XYZ. They had to do everything exactly how they did. So like there is no, oh, they could have gotten the stones from the TVA and Natasha could live. No, sorry, she couldn't.
Yeah.
I hate it as much as you do. I love Natasha, wish she was alive still. No, that's not an option. Every single thing that happened the way it was supposed to because Doctor Strange, because of how timelines work, all that jazz. It all is fine.
Yeah, and you saying that, I'm about to go off the beaten path a bit here, and I want to talk about that line Doctor Strange says.
Yeah.
And it's always, it's the weirdest thing. I've always overthought it. How many possibilities did he look through? I believe he says this, ready? 14,601,000.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just weird that...
That's how many timelines there are?
No. It's weird to me that they weren't like 14,700,601. Like, to make it sound even grander, it's like they cut out the 1,000 part. You know how you read numbers?
Maybe it's like an Easter egg of something.
It could be. It's just like, that was always weird to me. They skip, when you were taught how to read numbers, you like are supposed to say.
To be fair, 14,601 sounds better than whatever number you just said.
Well, I know that's probably why they cut it out, but it's funny that this is what the number would look like, right? 14 million would be like
000,
and then
comma,
more
000, comma 601.
Yeah, just interesting, but it is less of a mouthful, so that's probably why they did it.
Yeah, imagine he was like 14,723,100,000.
They could have made like Spidey or Quill
862,000.
They could have done something funny there, but that is supposed to be a serious line. So they were probably like, "Hey, let's just cut out the middleman."
I'm sure there's a reason for it somewhere, or maybe not. Maybe they just rolled some dice and came up with a number.
There probably is.
They said, "Benedict, just come up with something, and we'll put it in."
Yeah. But anyway, if you have anything else you want to add to Loki season 2, I think we touched on it for the most part. It looks epic in scale to me. I genuinely believe the quality of this show is higher than any of the other shows, and I will argue to the grave with that.
Fair.
It doesn't look like it has that MCU gloss to it, and it just...
This is the good kind of Marvel magic that I like.
Yeah. Keep talking. I just want to check something.
A nice combination of grounded and magic that I like.
Yeah.
So
for those wondering, we can only record for 30 minutes at a time.
Yeah, it's just like 27 or something.
Yeah,
right?
So let's rank these MCU shows.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to rank the 9 MCU TV shows. And as we rank, we're going to talk about why we have them at this certain place, maybe even argue each other's rankings. We'll just simply have to see. Do you want to go first? Or
we'll go 9, 9, 8, 8, all the way to our number ones, taking turns. And I want to say real quick before we get into it, I'm very, very excited for Loki season 2, and I think that it has the potential to revive what we had in 2021 in terms of that week-to-week speculation and like really being amped up for a new episode of MCU TV.
Yeah.
So I'm gassed up for it, honestly. That trailer won me over big.
Gassed up. Shut up.
Okay. I'll start.
You want to go first?
Yeah. So
I think both of our number 9s are where they are because we haven't finished said respective shows.
Oh.
I know you haven't finished your number 9.
I have seen the finale and watched recaps, but I haven't
not watched
every episode, and I may one day. Number 9 for me is She-Hulk. I've seen the first 4 episodes to completion, parts of the others, and the finale, fully the finale. We're hiding. You look like one of those little people who cover their paper in elementary school.
Probably
like
someone like you. Yeah,
for sure. We actually had dividers.
Well, I just don't want you looking at my list.
No, it's fair. I don't want you to see mine either. So She-Hulk is in last. That show is... It's painfully unfunny to me and frankly cringe. The one thing that got under my skin more than anything was that the show was like, we're making fun of all the people who theorize in the MCU, but the show would like play along into it and then like try and tee up cameos. Like I thought it was so clever and it just wasn't.
Yeah.
It was dreadful for what I've seen, and the finale was a joke. What a sick joke. It got so meta, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Mind-blowingly stupid.
Yeah.
It's dead last for me.
I don't blame you. My number 9 is Secret Invasion. I've seen the first 2 episodes.
You're good.
Haven't finished it, and I don't know if I want to. I was kind of holding out to binge it at the end, and I was really only going to binge it depending on like who was going to show up. I was waiting for Daisy Johnson to show up, Quake, for my boy Drew, and for like Jules and James, but she did not. And then I know there was a scene where Nick Fury was like calling somebody, Like, let's finish this. So I was like, oh, Monica, right? Because she's with Fury at the beginning of the Marvels, or Carol, or someone important. No.
That scene confused me so much. I was like, what is happening?
I don't even know. So I just don't care. Rhodey's a Skrull. I already know that. I read leaks months ago. I also could not, gun to my head, could not give a single care in the world about Rhodey. That's like, he's maybe one of my least favorite Marvel characters.
That's totally fair.
I don't find him funny.
The most unlikable he's ever been in Secret Invasion. And it's like,
see,
they made it extra obvious because he was a Skrull, but he's like,
that would be bad for me because I already strongly dislike him to begin with. Every time he opens his mouth,
in this show.
Every time Rhodey speaks in Endgame,
Yeah.
I just want to turn the movie off immediately. Like, I don't find any of his jokes funny. Maybe at the very most when he talks about strangling baby Thanos, but that's maybe like a breath out of my nose, like a.
Yeah, honestly, his best work is in the first Iron Man when it's not Don Cheadle.
I was about to say
It's Terrence Howard. So, sorry.
I
true.
just like he's just there. I don't
Throwaway
care
character.
for Rhodey.
I've never been a Rhodey guy.
It's so funny watching people react to him being a Skrull and being like, this ruins Rhodey's character. I'm like, Rhodey's character sucked since Civil War.
The only thing that does bother me is that it does mess with the canon a little bit because he wouldn't be like as in the know on everything, and it was just weird. Like, so remember, that's a court-martial, like in Infinity War, like that's a Skrull that's like having that joking tone with the Avengers as they arrive, like to meet up in Infinity War.
Him
It's
him being rude to Carol when she shows up, he's like, if you don't mind me asking, where have you been this whole time? Shut up.
Yeah.
Go away. Maybe.
No lie, that actually makes a lot more sense now.
No, that's what I'm saying. He sucks in Endgame.
No, him being like that towards her is the only thing that actually makes sense with him being a Skrull.
I know.
Because he would have beef with her.
I know.
As a Skrull.
So true.
I don't think anyone's ever talked about that yet.
I've seen people talk about being like, oh.
That makes sense. Anything else with like him being like sad about Tony dying, like great actor, the Skrull should win an Oscar. But like, I mean, what?
I just don't care. I don't care about Rhodey. I don't really care about his friendship with Tony. I have been saying this the entire time I've been watching Marvel. I think Rhodey should have died in Civil War.
I second that.
It's time.
Yeah, I second that.
It's time. Get off my screen. I'm good. If Tony's not there, I don't care that Rhodey's there. Like, there's just no reason for him to be there. There's so many other characters we could utilize in terms of arms dealing or whatever Rhodey's point is for existing at this point. There's so many other characters that could do what he's doing. We don't need him there. We don't.
To be completely honest, the OG 6 need to be on. Like, Iron Man and Cap are gone and Natasha's gone, but like at this point, after Love and Thunder, I don't need to see Thor again. Kate Bishop is the new Hawkeye, and Hulk, what is he even doing? He's the lamest of the 6 now. And some of them are literally dead, and they're still cooler than him dead. So
I just don't care about Rhodey. Is his show even still happening?
Actually, if it does happen, it's a movie now. They switched it into a movie, and Cam, it's not happening. Don't worry. It's literally.
I won't watch
it's never.
it. I don't think I'd watch it.
It won't see the light of day.
The only reason I'd watch it is if Bucky and Sam were in it.
If Disney wants to make money, they will not make that.
Yeah, that's a loss of money.
That's a bomb waiting to
immediately loss of money. But that's why Secret Invasion's at 9 for me.
Yeah, we're talking about that in a second. But before we do, number 8 for me is What If.
Right.
Was that your number 8 or no?
No.
Okay. So you have What If higher than me. What If has great concepts, great ideas, great one-off episodes. Notably, the Doctor Strange episode where he keeps like trying to save Christine Palmer, I believe is her name.
Yes.
And
my queen.
Like no matter what he does, she dies. It was a tragic.
Yeah.
That was a great episode. I liked the zombie episode.
Yeah.
I also even liked the Ultron episode.
So you're telling me you like Secret Invasion more than What If?
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Like, meaning I would, and really, for me, when I rank these, a lot of it comes down to, like, rewatchability and just overall enjoyment. I mean, I watched 4 episodes of the show. I watched the 2 episodes when I got them early, and then I watched 4 in one sitting.
Yeah.
If I hated it, I don't think I could have done that.
That's fair.
It's not the worst thing ever. I don't love I mean, it's just a bit of a drag, which we'll talk about that momentarily, but I genuinely just, I think What If's one of the least memorable.
That's fine.
And I don't need season 2. No one's asking for it.
I don't.
It's a waste of money for Disney.
I'm not too upset with that being your number 8.
Yeah, I don't. And again, I see some people be like, "Bro, What If is mad overhated," and I'm like, it's just the least relevant of them all. Like She-Hulk's more relevant.
Okay.
Than What If to me. So that's my number 8.
All right.
Yours?
Moon Knight. Number 8, Moon Knight.
You just triggered an entire section of fragile fanboys online. So
I'm literally so
congrats.
sorry. I'm so sorry. We got the
Don't
first.
apologize,
We
because
got
I'm about to talk about that soon.
We got the first 4 episodes of Moon Knight early,
Yeah.
and I was into it. I was so into it. The vibes were giving me very like National Treasure, sort of Indiana Jones, like archaeologist. Like, ooh, I like this. We're going
Uncharted
to,
on
we're
honestly,
going to
yeah,
Egypt, and we're digging up things, and I like it, and I like what's going on. And then Mark dies, and then he's greeted by a hippo on a boat going through the desert of life ?
Incredible CGI in that.
Oh
in that
my
episode.
god, the transition from episode 4 to episode 5 of Moon Knight erases anything I liked about the show in the first 4 episodes. Like, it makes me so mad. And I remember when we got those first 4 episodes, we had to wait like a month until we got
1
episode
month.
5. So afterwards, you were like hyped on Moon Knight. And me, I was like, they're going to do something to fuck this up. I think he dies.
We kind of had a reversal where I wasn't liking it as much as you, and then the twist, I was like, "There's so much potential here."
I was like, there's no potential.
yeah, I was like, "There's so much potential," because I was
And
like, I was like, "This is just generic."
We almost like
eh.
fought for real. I remember when it ended because I was liking it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then you were not liking it. The twist happened, and you were like, "Oh yeah."
I was like,
"Oh
this
baby."
is. It was like Shyamalan. Like, I literally had chills. I was like, this is like Nolan Shyamalan. They're actually gonna make great TV.
And I was
And
like,
then the next episode was like,
I knew
what
immediately.
Am I watching?
The minute what happened in episode 4 happened, I was like, "Oh, it's like a gray cloud went over my head." I was like,
Yeah.
"They're gonna mess this up." I don't know where they're possibly going, but I know it's not going to be somewhere good.
Yeah.
And then I watched episode 5, and I was like, "Wait, don't we see the hippo at the very end of episode 4? I think."
Yeah,
Oh my god.
it's like in a door.
Guys,
remember?
it's so bad. I hate it more than I hate most things ever. Moon Knight makes me mad.
We'll
And
talk
then people
about it
are
more in
like,
a second.
"We need Moon
Yeah.
Knight in a movie." I could not see Moon Knight ever again, and I would live a happy life.
To be honest, there's no role for him, and I'll talk about that more in a second.
The-
I'll save like my thoughts on it for when I talk
I
about it. but, yeah.
thoroughly enjoy Oscar
Oscar Isaac.
Isaac's performance. I don't know why I was blanking on his name.
It's okay.
I thoroughly enjoy Oscar Isaac's performance. That scene where he's crying on the street.
Can I tell you
Great,
something real quick?
Fantastic.
In my live stream the other day,
Yeah.
someone said, "Hot take: Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight is the second best MCU casting of all time."
Dog.
I just rattled off like
That's
10 dudes who are better,
Crazy.
and women, men and women who are better in their
That's
roles.
crazy.
Look, he's a fantastic actor. I could name probably 15 people who could do that.
That's wild.
You know, it is.
I just, the way that show went, oh boy, did I hate it. And then the whole, third personality thing where everyone was
At the
like,
very end,
oh, it's going to be, do you even remember his
Jake
name?
Lockley.
I
think-
hope, I pray to whoever is listening, Kevin Feige, if you're watching this, please don't make me go through a second season of Moon Knight. Please.
You won't have to.
I hope I
You
don't.
want to know something? I'm going to talk about this right now.
Go ahead.
This was years ago. So if this ever comes, I take this with a grain of salt. This was like a year ago now. Supposedly, people were saying Moon Knight's in the new Captain America movie. And he has like a big role. How would you feel? How would you feel? Would you walk out of the theater?
No, because I
I
love
would
Sam.
laugh so hard.
I
in
love
that
Sam too
theater if
much,
that
but
happens.
oh my god, I would.
I honestly want him to be in it now. I want him to be in it now. I would just laugh so hard.
I would have to find a cliff
Oh man.
and drive off of it.
Because no one would talk
Immediately.
about the movie. They'd be like, Moon Knight's back, baby.
I just hate Moon Knight. I don't like the
Fair
show
enough.
at all.
Cam's anti-Moon
And-
Knight.
I think that
Oscar Isaac's the shining light in that show.
yeah, of course, obviously. I think that the hype for it was
I was a
too
hype man
much.
for a bit there, and then I realized in the last two, in true Marvel fashion, it really fell off.
I was like, this is not good.
Yeah. Can we talk about my 7
Didn't
real
it
quick?
end with nothing? He's back to where he was.
Ambiguous ending that really didn't give
He's
us any
still
clarity.
two people. He's still Mark
We
in
don't-
his job,
we don't know. Yeah.
or whatever the other
I'm
dude's
pretty sure
name
he
is.
wakes up tied to the bed, and that's it.
Yeah, it's like, did it even happen?
But then
That's
there's
what
like
it
a
is.
third personality at the end. And Ethan Hawke was a total waste. We're going to talk about that soon.
Forgot Ethan Hawke was in
literally, really quickly, let me talk about my 7 so we can continue this discussion.
Go ahead.
My number 7 is Secret Invasion.
Okay.
You kind of touched on everything I wanted to touch on. The show's main issue is it had so much potential early on. Like, to me, I compare it to early Mission Impossible, like the first movie, where it's like, oh, this trickeration, this sort of government agencies getting involved, and this, like, scare among people, like who's a Skrull, who's human. A lot of intrigue set up, and then the show didn't really progress anything until the finale. Then it was rushed. We got this super dumb CGI battle where
I've seen clips.
where characters get every MCU character's power, and it's like, this is just a meme. This is a meme, and it was super rushed and lame. That's my
You know what I think? I think Marvel keeps hiring people to make trailers for their TV show without telling them what the show is about. They said, here's some clips.
They probably give them the first 2
Here's
episodes.
some music you're allowed to
watch.
use.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they get to watch any of it. They say, here are some clips. Here's music you're allowed to use. And here are the lines that we want people to say in the trailer. Make a trailer. And then these people are making these trailers. So cool. Moon Knight trailer? Dope.
Day and night. The remix, they have great music choice.
Secret Invasion trailer? Oh, I was living.
It's a great trailer.
Crappy shows.
That's why I am
Not
a
the
little,
same vibe of the trailer at all.
That's why I'm a little cautiously optimistic about Loki, because the trailers can be fire and misleading. But
The Loki trailer,
I think
though,
it's actually,
was accurate to
Yep,
the TV show, in
yep,
my opinion.
you're
So I trust it
Fair.
for the second season.
It's your turn to do your 6, right?
My number 7,
Your number 7.
because you went first.
Yeah. Okay.
My number 7 is She-Hulk.
Okay.
I agree as well. The humor in She-Hulk is not for me. I don't really think anybody should be finding that humor necessarily funny.
I think it's the biggest swing and miss humor I've ever seen in media.
I think that it's just, I don't want to insult anybody who finds the show funny, but in many ways, it's just humor for people. I'm trying to figure out a nice way to say this.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to say low IQ humor, but like, that's the energy it gives me. Now, if you find She-Hulk funny, I'm not saying you have a low IQ. I am saying, though,
you could say it's
maybe
elementary humor.
there's some other TV shows that you could watch that will, if you're laughing at She-Hulk, oh boy, you will get some abs from laughing at other TV shows that are actually funny.
Yeah.
I remember vividly when we were watching the first 4 episodes, whatever episode Hulk says bruh in, I was sitting at my desk, you were sitting at my bed. I paused the show and I turned around and looked at you and I was like, there's no way.
It was bad.
No way that Hulk just said bruh. You're telling me Dr. Bruce Banner, anger issues, Dr. Bruce Banner, the man in the purple shirt that I love from Avengers, said bruh.
Honestly,
seriously,
after Endgame, are we
to
that
a woman?
surprised? Are we
Also,
that surprised after Endgame?
no. Oh my god, he's another
With
thing I
the
hate in Endgame.
dab?
Top 2 things I hate in Endgame: Rhodey, Hulk.
Okay.
Top 2.
What about
Hate it so
Fat
much.
Thor? Have you kind of come around on that a little bit? There's a clip of
not-
us, like one of our early
he's
clips of you
not
like
as-
going off on that.
He's not as bad as the rest.
That's fair.
Oh my gosh, Hulk dabbing.
Oh my god.
There's just so many.
Cringe.
We need to make an episode just talking about Endgame because there's so many things that I dislike about Endgame, and I could critique about Endgame. Baby, we don't even have the time. I can't even get into it. Oh my
Endgame
god,
hater.
not an Endgame hater,
I'm
just an
messing with you.
Endgame criticizer.
I know. I'm messing with you.
But regardless, so I think the humor in She-Hulk, bad, horrid. However, Tatiana, what's her last name? Maslany. I like her. I think you want to talk about great casting for a character. I think she's a really great She-Hulk. I think she's, especially like in the human form, awesome. I pray to God we never see She-Hulk in a movie because of her CGI. She would look like, it's like if you took the animation of Miles and put him in a real movie. Like, it's like 2D against 3D. Oh my god, my eyes would bleed. They would bleed like Max at the end of Stranger Things. Like, it would be bad. However, you were saying,
I was gonna say, I think a lot of the 2022 MCU shows, there's 3 of them, I believe. 2/3 of those shows are not important, and I don't think we could literally go the rest of the MCU and never see their character again.
Yeah.
And that's why it's impressive. We're going to talk about a show later that one of those characters is already going to be in a movie.
I hate to say this about She-Hulk because I hate to make a show that is a woman's show about a man. I hate to do it. But I've given Tatiana her praises. I think she's great. She's as good as she can be with the writing for the character of She-Hulk. Daredevil is the only saving grace for me in She-Hulk. Like, he gets a hallway scene, and they do that hallway scene decent enough justice. It's the worst of his hallway scenes, but it's still good enough. Yeah. He's there. He's cute. He's sexy. He's flirty. He's like, she's like, I wonder how many people are in there. And he's like, there's 7 people. And she's like, how can you tell? And he's like, I can hear their heartbeats. And she's like, you can hear people's heartbeats. And he's like, I can hear yours right now. Oh! Ow!
Sorry for your ears at home.
I turned away. Oh, baby.
Still loud to mine, so sorry to my ears.
Oh, baby. Woo! Daredevil is the saving grace.
Maybe I am not excited for Born Again, actually.
Because of me?
I'm kidding.
Daredevil is the saving grace of that show. That's why it is above Moon Knight for me.
Yeah. Moon Knight's my 6.
Okay.
So,
talk to me about Moon Knight.
Really, really loved the twist initially with episode 4. Then the 5th episode rolls around and is nonsense, sort of a slap in the face. And then the 6th episode, the finale, I watched that in a room full of, literally, if studios wanted to hire hype beasts, I watched it in a room full of hype beasts.
Oh yeah, you were.
And I'm not going to name any names, and I'm not going to say
talk,
anything.
Basically,
it was a room full of hype beasts who will probably never watch this video.
I watched you guys watch it.
I don't care. I was the only reasonable person, respectfully, who was like, oh, that was fine. That was kind of disappointing, actually.
I remember that.
And people were like looking at me like I had literally taken their puppy from their home and slit its throat in the room and said, I just killed your dog. What are you going to do about it?
That's so funny.
People were literally making me what are you talking about, bro? That was fire, dude. And I'm like, I mean, there was a big CGI fight with a giant statue, a crocodile statue, right? And then I was like,
oh my God.
There was no, the ending was ambiguous. There was no clarity. What was the point of the show? People were like, bro, that's a peak MCU show. And I was like, I almost, it was awful. That was an awful night for me.
I would love to challenge people like that to talk about something Marvel related without using peak.
It was a challenge.
Or just any of those buzzwords.
And then even worse was a certain someone who delayed said watch party.
I remember
arrived,
texting you about that because I was watching it with you guys, and I was like, but it was late for me because you were in California, 3 hours ahead. So I was like, what was it, 3 in the morning for me, 4 in the morning?
Yeah, so it was midnight.
I was like,
for me, my body clock was on 3. But here's
what's going on?
Yeah, so this person delayed it because everyone wanted to have this person in the watch party or whatever. And then what really irked me is that after that watch party, said person lingered talking for hours, and it was a one-on-one conversation. There was 6 other people around. That's my least favorite thing in group settings. This applies to any situation. When I'm with people and I don't have control of when I can leave. It's when it's clear the vibe is there's 2 people and a bunch of other people want to leave, but they're sort of tied down to the situation as well.
Yeah.
That's why I love to usually, if I'm going somewhere to hang with my buddies, and I'm driving.
Yeah.
Myself.
That's fair.
So that I can have an out if I need to get out.
This is off topic of Marvel TV shows, really, but do you ever think about it and think about how interesting it is between the 2 of us, how many TikTokers we've met or known at one point in the past 3 years?
That's pretty crazy.
Through all the meetups I've been to, all the meetups you've been to.
Wild stuff, honestly.
It's a lot of characters for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, Moon Knight, the finale was a total waste, and Ethan Hawke, love him as an actor, but as the Arthur Harrow's the villain, total waste. And the whole show was just a waste by the end. I get Moon Knight's cool as a character, his design, but he's barely even in the show as Moon Knight.
I would like to shout out the girl. Couldn't tell you her name for the life of me.
Layla or Lila?
She was Layla.
Pick one. I don't know.
Layla. I don't know her name for sure.
She has a badass moment in the
She
finale.
was cool. Yeah. That's about it. That's all I got for you.
Yeah. So Moon Knight, aggressively average, painfully average. It hurts me. And I think people overrate the shit out of it.
Aggressively average, I think, is a really good way to describe Moon Knight.
Because it's not bad. It's not
it's
not a bad show. It just is so okay, and people think it's like watching Daredevil or The Boys or something.
That's so disrespectful.
People try and compare
to
them.
Daredevil. To say Moon Knight's
it's
anything.
To
oh,
Peacemaker,
wow.
The Boys, Invincible, all these other shows.
That's great. That's really, really awful that people even think that, let alone say it.
To each their own. I know there's Moon Knight people out there, but
Oh yeah, I'm really sorry for offending anybody by doing this. No,
I actually am not apologizing. We're standing our ground.
opinions
This
are
is our
opinions.
opinion.
Opinions are
If
opinions.
you can't handle it, then get out of here.
I would still respect you.
I'm just messing with you guys.
Maybe.
But it's just our opinion.
What was I gonna say? Forgot what I was gonna say.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. Cinco. We're on
No,
5?
I'm on 6.
Okay,
You
go
keep
ahead.
forgetting that you're ahead. You're one ahead. My number 6 is What If. This is above the other ones. I have grown to appreciate it more since it's come out. I kind of like how all the episodes are just kind of whatever they want to be. I like the concept. I remember when What If came out, everyone was like wanting a What If concept for their own respective fandoms. Like I know Star Wars fans really want a What If type energy for Star Wars.
Mhm.
I like the concept of what ifs.
Me too.
I kind of want them to explore more, I guess maybe niche and like not as drastic what ifs. Like I'd like to see what if Steve fell off the train instead of Bucky? What if Bucky didn't fall off the train at all? I'm just thinking about my favorite characters, obviously. What if, trying to think of some good ones, but I want like more like, not like something as giant as like zombies or whatever.
Mhm.
But I like that it is what it is.
Yep.
And it's not that I'm highly anticipating season 2, but when it comes out, I'm not going to mind it. So long as, for the love of God, there's no Captain Carter in season 2 of What If. That's the only reason that I really didn't like it. Like, I liked it for everything except for that. Captain Carter was the face of all the promo, and I could have done without. For those of you that know me, I don't like Captain Carter. I like Peggy. I like Peggy in the first Avenger. I like Steve's ending. Shocker. I like Steve's ending. I like him with Peggy. I like them being in the 40s and staying away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Carter, maybe my least favorite thing to exist on Earth.
Over pickles?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd eat a pickle if it meant Captain Carter never graced my presence again.
That's insane.
I remember being livid. And
Wow.
so many people were like, Cameron, it's not that serious. And I was like, you know what? I don't care. It's serious to me. When the Captain America Twitter account changed its banner, changed its profile picture to Captain Carter, it had been like, what? A month since the Falcon Winter Soldier came out? It had been a month.
Wow.
And it automatically changed to Captain Carter. Pissed me off for many reasons. Number one, she's not even American. Sorry for your ears. I'm sorry for your ears. She's not even American.
Yeah.
I'll lower it in that post edit. Don't worry. I'll like lower the levels.
Oh, you're fine.
She's not American. She's not Captain America. She's Captain Britain, which she's not even that because Captain Britain is like a boy. She's Captain Carter. She's British. She's not American.
She's cut in half. What else?
She's not American. She's not Captain America. She's not a variant of Captain America. She's none of those things.
Yeah.
If you want to make her a Twitter page, that's fine. Make a Captain Carter Twitter page for all I care. She's not Captain America. She doesn't need to be the face of the Captain America page. Captain Carter got more promo than Sam as Captain America has ever gotten, even to this day. At the time, I was mad because it had been about a month span. We're 2 years out from Falcon Winter Soldier. 2 years past it. Still. She got far, and you can't even tell me she didn't. She got so much more promo.
Doesn't help that she showed up in Multiverse.
Oh my!
That's what I was just referring to. I don't know if anyone heard that.
Don't even get me started.
I said she's also cut in half.
I know. I got that.
Yeah.
I caught that. Thankfully, shout out to Wanda. That variant of Wanda is a homie for real, and I'll stand by that variant of Wanda.
I'm gonna say something that you might have to leap out, but she can burn in hell. That version
Captain
of
Carter?
Wanda.
That version of Wanda
can burn in hell.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Is that gonna get me canceled?
I don't know.
I think it might.
Is she not the normal one, or is that the scary one?
No, she's literally like she's the normal Wanda. So I basically just told her to die.
Well, she killed Captain Carter, so she's good in my books.
Professor X. She killed Krasinski.
Oh, I forgot
she
about that.
killed
She did.
Black Bolt. She killed everybody.
But he was Professor X is sold. He was gonna die soon
I know.
anyways.
I said that for comedy.
Is it
saying
a?
she can burn in hell? That's obviously
it's
hyperbole.
honestly
Well, no,
a
it's just
necessary.
like-
It's a necessary sacrifice
No,
to get rid
yeah.
of the evil that is Captain Carter.
And it wasn't like the Professor Charles Xavier we knew, but it was like, screw this. Like, I hated Wanda, and I still don't like her for so long after that movie.
Yeah.
And that's funny. I bet I just triggered so many people saying
you know that my dislike for Captain Carter is so real and strong because it would be so easy for me to cosplay her.
Mhm.
I would kill it.
As who?
Captain Carter.
Oh, yeah.
I'd look so good, and I know I would.
You would.
But I hate her, therefore I will not.
Yeah.
Never.
And it's just not interesting.
Unless I'm paid.
It's not something I'm interested in seeing.
Unless I'm paid by Bob Iger and Kevin Feige themselves, you will never catch me 27 again.
27 again?
You will never catch me cosplaying Captain Carter. And I hope to God she's not anywhere near season 2 of What If. And if I have to see her again, I'm going to hurt myself. I could tolerate her episode of What If, the first episode, because it gave me so much Bucky. I was fine with that. Also, What If did give me shirtless Bucky in the shower, so I do have to give them their 10s for that. That was really spectacular. Voiced by Sebastian Stan. Close my eyes, I can picture it. Yeah.
The only cool thing about What If is, like, as we get more live action content, they can do more What Ifs of it. So, like, Guardians 3, Quantumania, they can, like, get into that territory if they want.
Yeah, I like the concept of What If, which is why it's number 6 for me. Yeah. Like, it's a fun concept, and Fair. I don't mind it. It's not harmful. It's not canon, technically, so it doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Fair.
We are moving into our top 5.
Top 5.
Starting with your 5.
We're recording everywhere?
I believe we are.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
My number 5 is WandaVision. WandaVision.
That's my number 5.
Funny because a lot of you guys would probably think it would be like at the bottom because of how much I like to destroy the show.
It's also so funny that we both don't necessarily like WandaVision. We're going to talk about this at the same time because it's also my number 5.
Cool.
My number 5 as well. It's so funny because what is the name of our podcast?
The Unusual Couple
What
Podcast.
Is our intro?
Who's in the intro? Good old
To be fair,
Scarlet Witch.
To be fair, all of that is not even really WandaVision. It's more I Love Lucy because that is what that episode is pretty much based off of. Let's talk about WandaVision.
We did start this podcast the first episode. I wanted to mention this. The first episode came out the day Loki season 1 dropped.
Wow.
So
that's so cute.
Yeah.
All right.
How cool is that?
WandaVision. In concept, great.
Yes.
In theory, I adore the whole different decade for every episode. Yep. Going into it, I loved Wanda.
Yep.
Movie Wanda, like all the way till Endgame, she eats and she slays, and I do love her. She crushes it. I'm not gonna lie to you. TV Wanda and so on, not my favorite. Now, okay. I feel like whenever we crap on WandaVision, a lot of people's instinct is to be like, oh, they're following the masses that don't like WandaVision. Oh, they're following the masses that have turned on WandaVision. Blah, 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 blah. No. You can go onto his channel, Filmstocked, youtube.com/Filmstocked, and scroll to the live where we are watching WandaVision, episode 6. End of episode 5/beginning of episode 6.
Yep.
Episode 5 was the Halloween episode. She expanded the hex, right?
Yeah, I thought episode 6 was the Halloween episode. Maybe I'm wrong.
Fact check me.
I will.
While I talk. Whichever episode the Halloween episode was, she expands the hex. She's glowing in the eyes. Chaos magic. Oh my gosh, something's happening, right? My issue with WandaVision was that it was kind of 20 minutes of nothing, 5 minutes of something, and then the next episode resets.
Episode 6 was the Halloween episode.
6. Sorry, I forget how
good?
many episodes are in it.
9.
So, gosh, not the most deserving episode TV show to have.
Because
9
some of them
episodes.
were like 20 minutes when the credits rolled. Yeah.
So episode 6, Halloween episode, chaos magic, hex expands, so exciting, big things happening, and I'm like, okay, that was fun. If the next episode starts without talking about anything that just happened, I'm done.
Yeah.
Next week, episode 7, she wakes up in her bed.
Yes.
I about walked out of the room. I about got up and walked out of the room. I was pissed. Right when that happened, I was like, I'm done with this TV show. I am done. I don't care. I don't care what the ending is. I don't care what happens. The TV show has cool things, and I will give it its 10s. I really liked Agatha. She was a really big standout for me in that show. The scene where Wanda kicks Monica out with her magic, 8. The scene where that whole episode, I think it's the 70s episode or 80s episode, she turns around and sees Vision, but it's dead Vision. Loved that. The scene where she leaves the hex and does the whole thing with all the guards and they all start pointing the lasers at each other. Ate that right up. I'll give the show its 10s where it's deserved. However, beginning of episode 7, I couldn't do it anymore. I was done with what I was watching. I endured. I liked episode 8 actually because that was just going through Wanda's life. I enjoyed that.
That might be my least favorite episode of the show.
I know it was. I endured episode 9, and then once it was done, put a bow on it and just haven't touched it since, and I don't want to, and I don't ever feel the desire to. It didn't help the show that the fans were fucking wild either.
Oh, man.
Fucking irritating. I'm like bleeping myself because I can't talk about Wanda stans without cussing. Like, I can't do it. And I will say,
it's a headache-inducing thing.
There's a difference in my book between Wanda stans and Wanda fans.
Okay.
I have a lot of friends that are Wanda fans.
Yeah.
Wanda stans, though, can die in a ditch.
I'll say this about WandaVision. I've never seen a show have a moment in time where the internet broke.
Yeah.
And like the world stopped turning for a second when Evan Peters as Quicksilver walked through. It was like,
such a great
we're
time.
about to, I have chills thinking about it right now.
I love our reaction to it.
We witnessed greatness, and it was going to sort of tie in the X-Men because we knew the X-Men
were grabbing
coming.
onto each other.
It was a thrill, frankly. You see the hair from behind, and you're like, is it Aaron Taylor?
Oh my God, who is
oh my
it?
God, it's Evan Peters. That moment chills down my
Monica
spine.
being like, that's not her Pietro. So
Yeah.
acknowledging
Yeah.
in the canon of the real world that man is not Wanda's brother, and she doesn't even realize that herself in her little bubble. What does that mean? What could that possibly mean for the future of the MCU?
Again,
Magneto, where is he?
That's why this show functions better. And I made this point in the video. I said this show functions better as a week-to-week hype machine and a week-to-week theorizing vehicle. But when you look back on the actual quality of show, like watch it episode 1 to 9 in one sitting, it's not very good.
All of that excitement we just talked about, all the goosebumps we just endured to be Ralph Boner.
Yeah. One of the, if not the worst
just,
lines, one of, if not the worst throwaways in the MCU.
Not even just like, oh, psych, he's not her brother.
Yeah.
He's actually an agent. Oh, no, we had to make him a dick joke.
Yeah.
We couldn't give him a regular name.
Not to mention, like, the structure of the show, like episode 7, it sets up like this final showdown, and then the 8th episode is just an entire backstory that we as like viewers already knew. Like we already knew all of this information.
There were certain things added to it though.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, but most of it we already knew in my opinion. And it's like we don't need to explore this. It was also one of the longest episodes.
I enjoyed episode 8.
That's one of my least favorite things.
You know why I enjoyed episode 8?
Why?
Because it had nothing to do with the stupid goddamn hex. It had nothing to do with it. It was about Wanda. It was about the Wanda that I liked from the movies past. It showed things that we hadn't seen before of her with Hydra, how her powers kind of got unlocked. Yeah. There was some correlation there, connecting her to the Infinity Stones, explaining why she's the only thing that could remove the Mind Stone from Vision in Infinity War because she has powers from an Infinity Stone, like all these things. The scene between her and Vision, you know, people kind of ran crazy with the what is grief if not love persevering, but that is a really beautiful line if you can remove the hype from it. Like that is a very beautiful line. We got Vision that I like again.
White Vision too.
Okay, we're talking. I'm talking
I'm the
about
negative one here.
I'm talking about the positives of just episode 8,
yeah.
and I'm explaining why I liked it because it didn't have anything to do with the concept of the show. It was giving me what I wanted out of these TV shows, which was to learn about the characters. I have never wanted any Marvel TV show to progress plot, which is a hot take. A lot of people are like, "Oh, this show didn't do anything. Nobody went anywhere in the show, so it's stupid." I could care less. You could give me a TV show, a 10-episode TV show of the original 6 sitting around the Avengers Tower, and they don't go on any missions. I would watch every episode of that show, and I would eat it up immediately. If it's like in, what is it, Age of Ultron, where they're like having a party?
Yes.
10 episodes of that, I'm watching it immediately.
Okay.
That's why I like the certain shows that I like. I don't care if it progresses the plot. It's a TV show. I don't need for it to. Yeah. I'm here for the characters that I love. That's why I liked episode 8. Gave me more background on Wanda, and then they made me hate her.
I get like kind of nauseous talking about WandaVision too much. I want to highlight the thing I like and move on from it.
Go ahead.
Monica Rambeau.
So true. We loved her.
She's the best, and I just realized she's going to be in a film. We're actually bringing together 2 TV shows and then a Captain Marvel sequel into its own
She's not
movie.
really introduced in a TV show, though. Her being acted as, what's her name, Tiana
Monica
Harris?
Rambeau adult is introduced.
Yes, is introduced in a TV show. Correct.
The version we're gonna see, really.
Correct.
Same character is in Captain Marvel, but
Correct.
Yeah, she and I actually like episode 4 a lot. Jimmy Woo was funny. Remember
Great,
that?
yeah.
Darcy, is that the
Love Darcy.
Like, there were
Loved
some,
having her back.
There were some moments to shine.
There were so many concepts that were great.
I remember the theorizing. Literally, who's the beekeeper? People thought Steve Rogers was the beekeeper.
Oh
at one
my
point.
God!
I'm unlocking memories right now.
Wow, I forgot about that. That's crazy.
Who was
Mephisto.
people were saying that what's the neighbor's name? The blonde-haired lady.
Oh,
They were saying that she was like Emma,
Dolores
like Frost
or
from the
something?
X-Men or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
They were saying people were saying the
And
fly
it's
on the wall
because
was Mephisto,
It's
and
because Evan Peters was in it, so
Yeah.
all of our minds
And
were
so they
going to
were-
X-Men.
And honestly, a lot of these theories were valid because
Yeah.
of we had confirmation, with the variant of Quicksilver.
WandaVision is when I think Marvel realized that we got to be careful with
False promises.
our Easter eggs,
Yeah,
because here's the thing:
promises.
there's a difference between like, in certain movies, sometimes the license plate will say like, TAS and then a number for like The Amazing Spider-Man and then a comic number. That's a little Easter egg. That's a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like to a comic or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I think WandaVision did a lot of Easter eggs like that, but Easter eggs in the sense of, hey, if you're a comic fan, you're going to be like that gif of Leonardo DiCaprio. Not a, oh my God, this is a theory that's going to lead into this and this and this and this. I think that's when Marvel kind of realized like, oh, maybe we need to like not be giving so many
Like,
Easter eggs because they'll just take it and run.
Man, a perfect Easter egg is in the original Star Wars when I think it's like the cell block or something is 1138.
Yeah.
And this is in A New Hope, and that's a reference
Yeah.
to one of George Lucas's films, THX 1138, which is like
Like,
only
that's an
like
Easter egg.
really people who would know. It's not like false promises is what WandaVision had, and that's why it's frustrating. It didn't need to be 9 episodes. The hype was
Did
real,
not need to be 9
but the
episodes.
actual show on rewatch, pretty lame finale.
1 and 2 could have been one episode
Yep.
immediately.
The first
Like,
3 could have been an ep.
Yeah.
The first 4 damn near, because it's Monica. You could have made it an hour.
Yeah.
You could have gone through all that, and then Monica
Yeah.
simultaneous storyline of her kind of witnessing everything go down. So
To sum up WandaVision, beautiful TV show in concept, great ideas, execution bad, in my humble opinion.
and here's my quick theory. You actually go ahead.
No, you could go.
The WandaVision time period is unmatched. It was the best time. It had the best run week to week of any MCU Disney Plus show. I'll die on that hill.
Yeah, sure.
But it's almost like it's become this nostalgic time period now. I look fondly at that. I remember literally it was so much fun. We stayed up every night till 3. We got to pick movies and we would stay up. That was so much fun.
Oh, I
But
miss it.
I do too. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And then
But the worst part of it was watching the show.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
So-
I remember I stayed up after the first couple episodes. I would like stay up and theorize and
You would make
I
edits. There
made
were so many things to do.
YouTube videos. Come on, you know it's a big deal if I'm making a video.
We
about it.
cosplayed.
Oh my god.
I painted my hair. This was a big deal. And we
You
made a
did.
TikTok with the Sweet Home Alabama audio because I was Quicksilver and you were
Oh, that's funny.
or maybe we didn't. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
funny though. But it was a time. Like, see, it was a time, and I look back at that fondly. The show isn't good though.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how I imagine people feel about the prequels, who like would go and it was like, oh my god, let's go watch the new prequels, that were like diehard OG fans, but they ended up not liking, but they still dressed up and they went with their friends. They'll have those memories forever,
Mm-hmm.
but they look back and they go, I don't like the prequels.
It angers me thinking about how they use Evan Peters when Evan Peters is such a talented and amazing actor, especially for like, you haven't seen American Horror Story.
No,
I
but
would
I just got
love-
a really good joke.
I would love for you to watch his season of American Horror Story because you don't have to watch every season to understand each season. His season of American Horror Story, he's like really good in like scary things, and he could have been like a sly motherfucker in WandaVision, like just tricking things, controlling the curtains. I compared him to Hades because the way he was talking sounded exactly like Hades in the Hercules movie. He could have ate so bad, and what they gave him was Ralph Boner, and it makes me sick to my stomach.
So we both had WandaVision at 5, so I'm going to say my 4.
Go ahead.
My 4 is Miss Marvel.
God damn it. Mine is Miss Marvel as well.
Okay, cool.
Let's talk about it. Okay.
We will have variety in the top 3. Let me just say.
Do you want to talk about it first? Do you want me to talk about it first?
You
Because
go
I got
fir-
a
we'll
lot
talk-
of things to say
go
about Miss
first,
Marvel.
go ahead.
Miss Marvel, great show. From here on out, I love pretty much all the shows. Don't really have any problems with them. I have one issue with Miss Marvel, and that's the one episode where she goes to
Pakistan, I think.
wherever she goes to with the weird like clandestine.
Not her, honestly. Well, she does, but there's a whole flashback.
There's like a weird,
There's a whole flashback episode.
that's what it is. It's the
Episode 5.
flashback episode. Not the episode for me. That episode didn't exist though. Miss Marvel would damn near be a perfect show for me. I really like it. I love it. Miss Marvel has the funniest MCU joke that has ever been uttered, in my opinion. When I first watched it, it made me laugh so hard, and it makes me laugh so hard every time I think about it. And I'll tell you exactly what it is. It is Kamala and Cameron. His name's Cameron, right? Yes, his name's Cameron. And
his name's Brew?
Oh, I thought his name was Cameron.
Oh, the actor's name is something Brew. I don't know.
Maybe it's Brew. No, there's another boy named Cameron in the show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
My bad.
You're
Brew.
good.
You're right. Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Kamala and her friend. She finds out all this stuff about herself, and she's like freaking out, and he's like, what's wrong? And she's like, I'm a djinn. And he's like, Antonic? It's so funny. The delivery from kids when adults can't even deliver crap like that. The delivery from that guy, so funny. It's something I would say immediately. That's the kind of conversations we have. You'll say something, I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm like, I would say something like that. If you came up to me and you're like, Cameron, I'm a djinn, I'd be like, Antonic?
Yeah.
That's exactly something I would say. It's so funny to me, and I love it so much. And I think Kamala is so funny. Iman is just such a funny actress. The character, I love her because she's just like us. She's a fan of these characters. I love the Comic-Con they go to, Avengers Con. Like, if Marvel doesn't profit off of that at some point, they're crazy.
I agree.
Your thoughts?
I mean, I really like the show. It's a fun coming-of-age vibe. I don't think it's perfect. Unfortunately, I do think it falls victim to the MCU 6-episode specifically template.
Fair.
Where it starts out really strong, and then it becomes, here's a sort of generic finale showdown fight with a villain that's kind of I like the exploration of her growing up and the fact that we see someone who is an MCU fan, essentially, in the MCU.
Yeah.
That's cool, because
She's
we can
great.
all relate to that.
Yeah.
We're all MCU fans. We would love to get powers. That's the coolest part of the show to me. I wish it focused more on that. It kind of does go a little off the rails, in my opinion, I guess, in like episodes 4 and 5. But the finale, I thought, was satisfying.
The first
It's a
couple
fun
episodes
show.
is what I feel like they should have done better with Homecoming, in a way.
Fair.
Like the coming of age,
Fair.
the being obsessed with
Yeah.
Captain Marvel to Peter Parker being obsessed with Iron Man. Like, they should have done what they did for Miss Marvel with Homecoming, in a way.
Yeah.
I just think the character of Kamala Khan is just so me sometimes. Like, a lot of the things she says and does, very me. One of my good friends, Alex, texted me while the show was coming out, and he's like, I hope you know that you are Kamala.
That's funny.
I was like, well, thank you so much. I also keep forgetting how to pronounce her name. Is it Kamala or Kamala? I thought it was Kamala. It's Kamala.
One time I literally looked this up.
It's Kamala.
And someone say, remember by saying comma, like comma, the word la.
So it's Kamala.
Yeah.
Okay, so like Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Word. For some reason I thought it was Kamala.
No.
Are we sure? We're positive?
It's because trust me, as someone who speaks about this a lot and is worried about people correcting their pronunciation online, I believe certain characters pronounce it that way.
I know there's a joke in the show about it, but I haven't watched the show since it came out, so.
Let us know down below, but I'm pretty sure it's Kamala.
Okay, that's a good way to remember it.
Yeah.
But she's just so
once.
funny.
Yeah.
She's great. If it weren't for the flashback episode and her going to a different country in the middle of the show for literally no reason, I would love it a lot more, I think. I think if it stayed in New Jersey the whole time, that's where it's in, right? New Jersey, pretty sure. I would have liked it 10 times more.
You know
than I
what?
did.
I'm sorry. I zoned out for a second there because now it's really like, this is, what's it called when you can't remember the name pronunciation or something? Is it called the...
Mandela effect?
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know if it's necessarily Mandela effect, but
I'm Googling
I could call Drew right
the
now. And ask
pronunciation.
him.
On air.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll call Drew right now. This will be fun.
On air, please.
Let's see if he answers. If he doesn't answer, I'm going to tell him.
Yeah. So this is a call-in.
This is the...
Tell him he's on air before he starts
I will.
talking.
If he doesn't answer? Oh, that's so embarrassing if he doesn't answer.
It's okay.
Drew.
I'm looking it up right now. This is going to irk me till I go to sleep tonight. He's not going to answer.
Your call has
Damn.
Wow.
All right, I just found a YouTube video as a backup. You guys ready? I bet there's going to be an ad. Nope. Here we go. Ready? Any second now. Come on. It's
like us. So why does a character like Kamala Khan resonate
See,
with
but people
Pause.
say
Drew,
Hello.
I'm filming the podcast, so you're on air. You will be
Oh, I'm on air.
you will be featured in the podcast episode. How do I pronounce Miss Marvel's name?
Kamala Khan.
Kamala. So it's not Kamala, it's Kamala.
As far as I know of, it's Kamala Khan.
Kamala Khan. Thank you. We're talking about right now, and I could not remember how to pronounce her name.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Excited to watch.
Huh?
You too.
Okay, bye.
so. Honestly,
So remember,
I swear I'm not kidding. I read a YouTube video or not read a YouTube.
You read a
video.
YouTube-
I
that's
read
crazy.
a YouTube video. I mean, I had the subtitles on, so I did read it.
Okay.
Technically. See, who made that turnaround. I swear I read that online where it was like that's how you say it. So now I'm just
think
going to call her Miss Marvel to the end of
it's
time.
confusing because Kamala Harris is that's how you pronounce Kamala. But I think that's why there's that joke in the show where it's like it's not Kamala, it's Kamala. So think about it like you're just saying every A. Kamala.
So Miss Marvel.
Regardless, I think the show's very funny. Falls short in that one part, but other than that, great.
Yeah. So my number 3 is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah. Walk off. You won't do it.
I don't feel like getting
Look,
up.
this is a top 3 MCU Disney Plus show. It is a show that you know I love, and the fact that you grunt as if I hate it having it number 3 is pretty much that
just
summarizes.
messing with you.
I know, but I want to make a joke here. That summarizes like the downfall of the comment section in the world we live in. People will be
Yeah.
like, you hated it at number 3. The Falcon and Winter Soldier is awesome. I thoroughly enjoy exploring Bucky post Endgame, coming to terms with his new life. In a way, it's sort of like him grieving something. I don't know. That's kind of the way I felt.
Oh,
like
maybe grieving
he's not-
like I don't know the loss of his best friend. Or
Yeah, maybe.
maybe something like that. I don't
Supposedly
know.
they're best friends.
Maybe grieving the loss of literally himself.
Yeah, very fair. And then we get a new Captain America with a badass suit. You also have John Walker in here, who's a fascinating anti-hero.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good show. And I think people put in too much of an emphasis on the Flag Smashers being, frankly, mid-villains. I had to throw that word in there. We're talking about the MCU.
We'll talk about the Flag Smashers when I get to that.
And Carly Morgenthau. That was a good impression of that guy.
Baron.
Yeah, I think he's in Oppenheimer, by the way.
Probably.
Anyway,
Seems like the
Zemo
type.
dancing. I mean, there's a lot to love here.
There's so much to love here.
So what's your number 3?
My number 3?
Because we'll save more talk with Falcon Winter Soldier for later.
My number 3 is Loki. Now,
Wow.
we're in the top 3, so really there's not anything bad I have to say about these top 3 shows. I will say the episode of Loki, I believe it's episode 5, the one we weren't together for, the variants episode, kind of did not do it for
One
me.
of my favorite eps.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. On God.
Really?
Fascinating episode. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Classic Loki. It's so interesting to explore. I believe they call it The Void. That's such a good episode. I am not messing with you right now. I swear to God, I watched it in the car on the way back from Disneyland. Trevor was blasting a musical. I literally had my headphones in. I was still hooked. We watched it again. I watched it twice on the plane. I used to rewatch the Disney Plus episodes. I really liked that episode. It set up the finale really well. It gave us more. It gave us a display of all the variants.
I'm sure I'll eat my words come Deadpool 3, where I think the
I
Void
cannot wait for Deadpool 3.
the Void is going to be a
Oh,
big
I
part of
cannot
that
wait.
because we've seen set
Yeah,
photos
yeah.
and that's exactly what the
20th
Void
Century
looks
Fox.
like.
I'm so excited.
However, I liked Loki the most. I said this at the time. I say it now, and I stand by this. I think the show would have been better if it existed all in the TVA. I think all of that was so good. The concept of the TVA, all the workers, I was just really eating it all up.
Okay.
I know they had to leave, I guess, at some point, but when they leave through little orange boxes is fine. Like when they go to that Best Buy question mark or whatever they go to, that weird
I know what you're talking
convenience
about.
store.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Where we see Sylvie for the first time.
Yes, where it was raining outside.
Yeah. Woo. Woo. Sorry.
I don't even know what that was for.
Thinking about Loki
Who
all
knows
wet
at
from
this
the
point
rain.
with all the
Loki
men
all
you
wet.
like on TV?
Loki all wet from the rain.
Okay.
I just liked the show when it took place in the TVA, and that episode was extremely far removed from the TVA.
Yeah.
There was little to no Mobius in it, and it just wasn't my favorite. So that is the last of the Marvel TV shows that had one episode that kind of took me out of it.
That
Granted,
is fair.
That's not as bad as other ones have taken me out of it.
Yeah,
but that's
fair because if you look at it, that's the big critique of a lot of the 6-episode shows is the penultimate episode is like a step away from the main conflict.
Yeah.
So I can see that. I just was fascinated.
Even in WandaVision, the 9-episode one, the penultimate episode,
Literally.
steps away from
Miss
the main
Marvel
plot.
does it. Moon Knight does it.
All of them.
They all do it.
Except for
Secret Invasion.
Nar.
The Falcon and Winter Soldier does. They go and it's for a lot of people, we get the opening fight with John Walker, and the rest of that episode is them just chilling and training. And then they go into the main conflict. In the
Boo.
Yeah, you
Move
know
on.
It's true, and I saw it in your face.
No, I would argue episode 3 is more of a step away.
Okay. Number 2 for me, I think we have the same number 2. Hawkeye.
I'm sure we do.
Hawkeye's number 2.
Yeah.
The sass.
Yeah.
Look, I love Hawkeye, and it's almost my number 1. I have said it's my favorite for a really long time. How could I not love Kate Bishop? I say this, and this is the point I
You're
want to make.
dating her, so.
Kate Bishop is one of the most relatable MCU characters because she's college age.
22 in college, and
And we don't.
She's 22. She's in college. She, like Kamala, is obsessed with the Avengers. We see background story on why she's obsessed with Hawkeye. It makes sense.
Yeah.
She hates her mom. Relatable. She hates the guy her mom's dating.
Yeah.
Relatable.
Yeah.
And she just wants to be like her hero.
She's.
I got goosebumps.
You know, we don't get young leads like that aside from Spider-Man, and it was cool to see her. She's relatable. She's
so
funny.
cool.
And then you've got Yelena.
She's so funny.
And their chemistry unmatched.
They're so good together.
Of course, this is Clint's show, and he's sort of passing
No,
the torch.
it's not. It's not his show. It's Hawkeye's show. And who is Hawkeye?
Honestly, this is Kate's show, in my opinion.
It's Kate's show because she is Hawkeye.
It's Kate's show. Yeah.
No offense to Jeremy Renner, but offense to Jeremy Renner. I don't care.
A lot of people are, I think, closeted Clint fans. Like, they won't come out and say it.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
I just don't
Clint's
care for him.
okay.
He's got his moments.
It's weird because, like, no one talks about Clint. But then once people start to say he's bad, people come out.
The
and
show
defend him.
made me like him more than any of the movies ever have.
Yeah. I like his
funny.
family.
He's funny in the first movie.
It's there's a moment where he is like at the Rogers musical, right, and he like almost is overcome with like grief. He's like, oh my god.
No, yeah,
that's a good side.
The show did so much for Clint.
Yeah.
As somebody who is a member of a group called Clint Stinks,
Yeah.
the show did so much for him. The scene where he visits like the memorial for I don't know if it's the Avengers or if it's just for Natasha or whatever it is, and he like leans his head against it and he's like, I wish I could talk to you right now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my gosh, hang on. The way that they bring back the whistle from Black Widow between Natasha and the scene where Clint whistles while Yelena's trying to kill him, and she's like, how do you know that? Oh my gosh. Oh, the show is so good.
You make some interesting ass noises on this thing. I swear to God.
It's so good though. Like stuff like that gets me. You
Yeah,
know, it's like,
yeah.
oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I would say one of my favorite scenes is when we see Yelena blip back.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Yeah. The reason people hate on this show and no one will admit it is because of the portrayal of Kingpin, which is...
Cry Me River.
People loved this show until that happened, and that was the end of the finale. People loved this show.
Cry me
Kate
river.
Bishop will not be able to take him down. That was a really good Liam Payne impression.
Thank you. She
Of
could
Buble.
and she did. What about that?
Yeah, it's just annoying. And
Here's the thing. Kingpin is just a dude. If you have weapons that can get him from a distance, he's actually very manageable to take down.
Yeah.
The reason Daredevil struggles
He got popped
is
at the end
because
of the
he's...
show.
Daredevil struggles with Kingpin because he's not a long distance fighter. You got to get up close in his face to punch
Yeah,
him.
exactly.
Kate Bishop's got arrows. If someone is just a man, you can kill them with an arrow. You could shoot Spider-Man. I don't know how to tell you this. Maybe he'll dodge the bullet, but if he's not paying
How
attention,
awesome would it be if Deadpool just kills Spider-Man?
if Spider-Man's not paying attention, you can shoot him with the bullet,
Correct.
or an arrow, whatever tickles your fancy. Same thing
Put him
applies
in a
to
saw
Kingpin.
trap.
Kingpin is a step down below
Yeah.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
because he doesn't have Spidey senses.
Uh-huh.
You can kill Kingpin with a bullet.
You can.
as we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Question mark? Who knows? You can hit him with an arrow. Because if he's not close to you, he's large. You think he's going to swat the arrow away fast enough? No, ma'am. No, sir.
Look,
It's a weird
I
critique.
think people, again, they put so much emphasis on a 10-minute little showdown, and it's like the whole entire show is great. It's passing the torch from Clint to Kate. It's a fun Christmas show. Lucky, the pizza dog.
So
People need
good.
to get over it.
Kate,
It's fun. I love
Kate
it.
Bishop and Yelena are the second best duo in the entire MCU.
Valid.
Entire MCU.
Valid.
In all its years.
I mean, they're top 5, top 10. I don't know what would be. I think
Second best.
Rocket and Groot are one probably.
Fair.
I might be forgetting a few, but they're up there for sure.
Though I would only put them above Rocket and Groot because at least they both say more words than just
Okay.
I'm Groot.
Yeah, fair.
Your number one Marvel TV show of the Disney Plus variety is?
Do you want to just say 3, 2, 1 and do ours together, or is that stupid?
No, you go yours first.
It's Loki. Yeah, and I want to state that I usually would say it's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier or Hawkeye, but recently I fully realized Loki is the highest production quality show. Like it's the best made show, the best crafted show from an acting perspective, directing perspective, overall meaning in the MCU. It's the best. It feels relevant, important. It's going to tie into the grand scheme of things with where we're headed. There's crazy twists and turns. You got an awesome duo with Loki and Mobius. There's funny moments. There is some awesome
Hi,
action.
y'all. I'm Miss Minutes. Remember that jump scare?
Oh
in
my
season
god,
one?
yeah, I'll never forget it. So I really have come around on this lately, and the Loki Season 2 trailer reaffirmed to me, Chris, you've always liked Loki.
Mm-hmm.
It just got lost in the shuffle because we got so much content.
You've always been a Loki
I
defender.
think so. I don't remember. It might have shifted a little, but in reality, I do. If I said anything about it, I have issues with all the shows, but it's my favorite right now. It's the best, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it earlier, but the He Who Remains, like the final episode, it's literally people talking at a desk. The
So
dialogue is so awesome.
Jonathan Majors just crushes it.
He
in
does.
That.
He
like
does.
it's so good.
Yeah, 100%. So well acted, and again, crazy moments. Like in the end of episode 4, they prune Loki, and we're like, "Is he dead?" I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then you got the moment, like the opening credit music, where it's like all these callback quotes. So many chilling moments in Loki. I can't help but have it at number 1. Can't wait for season 2. High expectations, though I am a little cautiously optimistic. Loki is my number 1 best MCU Disney Plus show. And your number 1?
Before I go to my number 1.
Uh-huh.
Some cons I have for Loki, just right off the top of my head, outside of my own respective opinion of how I feel about episode 5. Sylvie and Loki kiss.
Yeah.
The gross misuse of I Need a Hero.
Oh, don't remind me of that.
Disrespectful,
I think that's
dare
episode
I say.
3. Yeah, that's the worst
Whatever it
episode.
is, it wasn't good.
No, nothing can replicate Shrek
There were
2.
many other fight scenes in that show that could have benefited greatly from I Need a Hero. And
You're valid.
instead it was just Sylvie after a Ren Fair question mark and we didn't even see her face.
Yeah, you're right. I
Bad.
can't argue with that. See, there's flaws in every show.
There are.
Yeah.
And I can acknowledge the flaws in my favorite show.
Yeah. What your favorite is?
My favorite Marvel, Disney Plus,
And the best in your opinion?
TV show. And the best, in my extremely humble opinion, is none other than The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I find it the most rewatchable.
Yeah.
Easily. I could talk about The Falcon and Winter Soldier for hours, you guys.
You could, and I honestly don't want you to, but you can talk about it for a long period of time.
You're
still.
gonna because we didn't talk about it at all for when
Okay.
you put it at number 3.
You have the
So
floor.
this is when we're both gonna talk
You
about
have the
it.
floor.
Listen. First of all, we're going back to blue for the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
I can acknowledge the flaws that the Falcon and Winter Soldier has. I'm very much aware that the Flag Smashers, if you view them as the main villain of the show, which they're not, they're not.
There.
John Walker is. They are just there. The Flag Smashers are just there.
Okay.
2 things about that. Number 1, you do have to remember and take with a grain of salt that the plot of the show was going to be vastly different, and it got changed in the middle of the pandemic because it was going to involve vaccines of something. I don't know, obviously, because they didn't go that route. They had to rewrite it because they thought vaccines was going to be like a whole kind of triggering concept because we were in the height of the pandemic and it just was an untasteful time. So they rewrote it. Therefore, they rewrote the Flag Smashers and their purpose, which is why they feel a little, what are you doing here? You kind of are stupid type thing. And also, I don't view the Flag Smashers as the main villain. I view the Flag Smashers as a plot progressor for everything else in the show. We need the Flag Smashers to create John Walker. If the Flag Smashers didn't exist, the government wouldn't feel the need to create a new Captain America as fast as they did with John Walker. You need the Flag Smashers to bring Sam and Bucky together, because they're not together. They're not even like really anywhere near each other at the beginning of the show. Them and John Walker bring Bucky and Sam together. So that's why they're important. Then them all three of them, John Walker, Sam and Bucky, following the Flag Smashers throughout what they're doing causes the other events of the show. Causes Sam to realize why he needs to be Captain America over anybody else. The way he talks to Carly in that one scene shows that he's better built for being Captain America than anybody else could ever be. Even if Steve was alive, he would not have been able to handle that situation with Carly in the grace and dignity that Sam did. So there's lots of things that the Flag Smashers are important for that, to me, justify the fact that they kind of are just there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, for the other things I like in the show. Okay, so for starters, I can also acknowledge the fact that I have a bias. Bucky and Sam are two of my favorite Marvel characters of all time. Bucky is my favorite MCU character ever. Sam is like top 5, right? So I can acknowledge I have a bias there.
Mm.
This show, though, gives me everything I wanted in a Marvel Disney Plus show. Like I said earlier, what I wanted out of Marvel Disney Plus shows is not necessarily plot progression. I don't care. I wanted more of the characters. And we still could have gotten more of Sam that we didn't. Mm. But I want to explore characters. I feel like that's why TV shows are great. There's things you can explore that you can't explore in movies, i.e., Bucky and all of his mental struggles and everything he's going through with his trauma. Sam with everything he's going through with becoming Captain America, race, all that stuff. His family. Learning about Sam's family, I loved and I adored. That's what I wanted from shows like this. There's its own confined plot in the TV show that doesn't have that much of an effect outside of the show. Last time we saw Sam in a movie, he got the shield to become Captain America. Next time we see him in a movie, he's going to be Captain America. Do you need to watch The Falcon Winter Soldier? No, but I don't care about that. It has its own confined plot to the TV show, which is good because it feels like there's an ending. The Falcon Winter Soldier has the best ending to any of the TV shows, and you cannot tell me different.
It's a very good ending, yeah.
Loki doesn't necessarily count,
you know?
because it's not a conclusion, because there's a season 2. Mm-hmm. But of the shows that we know are a season 1, The Falcon Winter Soldier has an ending. They're both happy. Everyone's healthy.
Yeah.
The villain is resolved. Everything's good.
Yeah.
There's not questions. That's beautiful end.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I agree. I like the ending of the show a lot. Ties a bow on everything nicely.
Which is great, because a lot of the Marvel TV shows don't end for some reason. And then, gosh, just the performances. Mm-hmm. The scene of Bucky crying in Wakanda.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan's amazing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Did we lose you?
Yeah, a little bit. The scene between... the concept of... First of all, bringing in Isaiah Bradley, adored. Mm. I think he's such an excellent addition to the TV show.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him again, potentially in Captain America 4. Everything involving Isaiah Bradley, I love. The scene in episode, I want to say 4, where Sam goes to Isaiah's house to talk to him without Bucky. Mm-hmm. He has the shield with him, but Isaiah is just telling Sam about what happened to him. Oh, both of them in that scene. Oh, it's so good. The ending, another reason why the finale of Falcon Winter Soldier is the best one, it literally wraps up everything. It wraps up the plot line with Isaiah, where Sam brings him to the Smithsonian, and there's a section for him now. People know about him. He doesn't have to hide. He goes from being, I'm dead, and we're going to keep it that way, no one needs to know that I exist, to now he has his own part in this Captain America museum, and he doesn't have to hide. Oh, I'm going to cry.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Chris, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yuri, I don't. Oh, I can't do it.
Oh yeah.
I can't do it. When he has to tell Yuri that he's the one that killed his son,
It's a bummer.
it was me. When he's talking to Isaiah and he's like, I'm not a killer anymore.
Yeah.
If he was wrong about you, he was wrong about me.
Really good acting there.
Great action in the show. Great emotion in the show. Great performances across the board in the show. Zemo, so funny.
Mhm.
Great addition to his character. How he's
Yep.
always kind of been a villain, but like, is he question mark? Like, we don't even. He's great. Everyone's great.
Yep.
Great show. I know it has flaws, but to me, no flaws.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
I can acknowledge the flaws and I can push the flaws away, so there's no flaws, and it's a great show, and I just love it so much. I also think it's the most rewatchable. We had this conversation yesterday about Hawkeye. You were telling me, like, I think you said something about Hawkeye being super rewatchable or whatever. And I was like, the reason that Hawkeye can't be number one for me personally is that it really only feels rewatchable during the wintertime, during holiday season, because it's a Christmas show.
Yeah.
Falcon or Soldier, you can watch at any point in time. The Madripoor scene, guys, I could do a whole solo episode talking about the Falcon or Soldier and what makes it such a good show. And I would die happy talking about the Falcon or Soldier.
Yeah.
The Falcon or Soldier got me posted on Sebastian Stan's Instagram story. The time period of the Falcon or Soldier being out was just the greatest time period of my life.
There you have it.
All of it was good. None of it was bad. It's great. It's so good. Sam and Bucky are the best duo in the MCU. The fact that they aren't going to be together in their upcoming respective movies makes me want to hurt myself a little bit.
You never know. He could show up in post-credit scene.
I would love that.
Bucky could. They could probably will set up Thunderbolts. We'll have to talk about that in another episode, though.
Ooh. Do you want to talk about your thoughts on Falcon or Soldier? Because you kind of never did.
No, I did. I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, I think you covered it.
I feel like you shut
Yeah.
down whenever I talk about Bucky.
No, I don't. I really like the show, and I think I already covered my thoughts on it earlier, and then you also covered yours, so we're probably good on it, right?
Do you disagree with anything I said?
No, I think I'm good on it. I think it's a good show. I think I enjoy it, and I think I expressed that when I talked about it at number 3. Sorry.
I just
I don't
talked
really.
a lot,
I have nothing
so
else to say about it. Like, there's you have covered the show.
Okay, word. Just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that, because I know I talked a lot, and I
You
just
did.
wanted to make
That's
sure I
okay.
didn't talk over you.
No, I have no. If I had anything else to say, I would say it.
I think a lot of people crap on the Falcon or Soldier because they're viewing it through the wrong lens. It doesn't. A TV show doesn't have to be some big thing.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best, depending on the kind of person you are. I like episode 3 of the Falcon or Soldier probably the most, but very close second is episode 5 when they're just at Sam's house building a boat.
Yeah.
And the reason why we had this conversation earlier where you were like, the penultimate episode of TV shows like pull away from the plot for some reason. The reason why that episode doesn't feel like it pulls away from the plot for me is because it just is further developing the characters as we have been for the whole show.
Yeah.
Sam says my favorite line in the MCU ever, where he goes, Steve is dead. Claps heard around the world.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter what he thinks. So true. This show, man, guys, I love Sam and Bucky so much, and all this show was so good to me because it just proved that Sam is a better friend to Bucky than Steve maybe ever was, dare I say.
Yeah.
And
Tough love.
Sam just knows how to handle Bucky so much more because he knows how to deal with veterans. We see that in The Winter Soldier. He works with vets. He knows how to deal with people with trauma. He knows what Bucky needs, and it's tough love. It's not the babying that Steve has been giving him this whole time of being like, oh, my poor little baby Bucky. Oh, come here, let me help you, and let me save you, and let me make you safe. And that's why a lot of people have the narrative of, I can't believe Steve left Bucky in Endgame. Nobody left anybody, for starters.
Yeah.
They had a conversation about it. Bucky was like, all right, I'll miss you, but have fun. And that was that. And it was the best thing that's ever happened to Bucky because all Steve was to Bucky, I'm sorry, I know I'm going on a rant.
It's fine.
All Steve ever was to Bucky was a constant reminder of what Bucky never could be anymore. All Steve wanted to do was talk about the 40s and the things they did and the things and everything they experienced together in the 40s. Bucky doesn't need to be thinking about that when he knows he could never go back to that. that mindset, that person. He's not that anymore. Steve could go back, and Steve did go back. Bucky needed to move forwards, and he could not do that with Steve dragging him down. And now Steve is gone. And I'm happy. And everything's good. And Sam and Bucky are besties, and everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
The end.
Yep. I'm excited for the new projects with both of them to see them come together again in the future, possibly. So we'll have to see what happens.
I'm so curious to see where they're going to take Bucky. I know me talking about him
Leader of the
retiring.
Thunderbolts.
Leader of the Thunderbolts
Yeah.
doesn't have an arm, question mark? His arm was given to Rocket in the holiday special.
Yeah. Maybe they'll just like be like, oh, it was a spare from the Wakandans or something.
I hope not. That would make me angry.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever really going to address
But
it.
he's going to have long hair. You
Yep.
guys, it's so exciting.
Yep. So we'll have to save all that for another episode.
And then Sam's going to have Harrison Ford, and that's very exciting.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, I think we all can agree Loki being the first show to have a season 2 release says something.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Okay.
It's definitely the most important
Yeah.
in terms of shows you need to watch before watching upcoming movies.
Yeah.
Because I think Loki is going to have a lot to do. Obviously, it already had a lot to do with Quantumania. It's going to have a lot to do with, I think, Deadpool and probably other movies that I can't think of off the top of my head.
I think it's going to directly bleed into Kang Dynasty.
Second show that you need to watch for the movies is Miss Marvel, because very exciting. Kamala Khan is going to be the first character that was introduced in a TV show.
Yep.
That's going to be brought over to the big screen, which I'm very excited for. I think that's going to be a fun time.
Now, technically, I think WandaVision is the first show where the subject matter of the show, like the plot, was touched on in a film, right? With Multiverse of Madness?
Yes.
But character-wise, you are correct. But I'm thinking of TV shows that have, like, when the new Cap comes out, that'll deal with Falcon
I
Winter
guess
Soldier,
if you count Wanda's kids, but I mean like character.
Oh, no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like, because they were there in a different universe with the Happy Wanda or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really count that, though. I'm talking like someone with powers, someone who's important, someone who's going to have lots of line in the show.
Yeah.
I mean, in the movie. And I think the Marvels is going to be great.
I'm excited for it. That's the next MCU movie, and that's the next MCU big thing we'll probably talk about. Actually, no, because Loki's coming out before then. So hell yeah.
Wow.
Loki comes out October 6th. That's 2 months from now, dude. 2
Time
months
is crazy.
from now. Just like the show would insinuate. Yeah, it is.
Where'd all the
Time
time
go?
go? It's starting
Who really knows?
to fly.
Yeah.
And I sing that because we're watching Outer Banks season 3 after this, right? A little bit of a rewatch.
Yeah, or a horror movie.
What horror movie do you want to watch?
I got a long watch list, honey.
We got a long time till it's night outside, though. We can put on Outer Banks 3.
Yeah, we also need to get food, probably, right?
Are you hungry?
Oh yeah.
I had a really late lunch, but I could eat. I had like
I
one
always
piece of
can
pizza.
eat. But that will. This has not been edited. I will say that will be the longest episode,
Probably. It's
without question.
We definitely shine when we get to talk about Marvel.
Yeah.
And it's been rough talking about
Or
Marvel
Stranger.
recently, I think. I was thinking
Things.
that earlier that we need to do a Stranger Things episode of sorts.
Yep.
Wow, crazy. Talking about Marvel, we definitely shine. I know I got a bit carried away there with Falcon and Soldier. But if you can't tell, I'm very passionate about it.
I was just trying not to look like I didn't care.
I know, Chris, it's obvious that you didn't care what I was saying. If you can't tell, he's wearing a Falcon shirt, my t-shirt that I'm letting him borrow because I buy big shirts. This is my Falcon Winter Soldier shirt that I actually got in a box from Marvel. One of my favorite boxes that I've ever received. I sleep in Falcon Winter Soldier shirts because when the shirts came out at Hot Topic, I bought every single shirt and I wear them all the time. And now they're like really, really soft and washed a bunch of times, and the logos kind of just aren't there, but they're really comfortable to sleep in. And
I'm laughing how you said it's obvious that I didn't care about what you were saying. Like I was listening, but I did tune out.
I bet when I edit any of those clips, when you know how I cut back and forth when one of us has been talking for too long, your face is just going to be.
And I'm just looking around. I thought we were going to get interrupted at one point, so I was definitely looking around, but
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. He always
that was
you
for them.
always check out.
I've heard the
Bucky.
Falcon Winter Soldier talk. That was for them.
I know.
That was for them.
I know. He always checks out when
Yeah.
I talk about Bucky though, because he just hears it all the time, I think.
Possibly.
But let us know down below what your favorite shows are, what your least favorite shows are.
Please.
What parts of what we said you disagree with, because I know I probably made a lot of people mad with Moon Knight. We as a collective probably made people upset with WandaVision. Some people really hate Loki.
Wow.
I know,
Some people hate the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
which is disrespectful. And if
Yeah.
you comment that you hate it, you probably won't be blocked, but I'll give you side eye.
Prepare yourself for the arsenal of.
I'll give you side eye, and you won't get the little heart next to your
Language.
comment. You
Yeah.
won't get the heart where you get our little profile picture next to your comment.
Yeah.
So don't say you hate it.
Final words?
The Falcon and Winter Soldier Supremacy. I am Kate Bishop. Looking forward to Loki season 2. Final words for you?
Loki season 2 will be the best season of MCU Disney Plus television.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's all I got.
But other than that, and despite our dislike for WandaVision, stay unusual.
Stay unusual.